Hello, everyone. This is Dan Proctor. I play Paris Aquilla in No Space for Heroes. I am also the writer and the editor of No Space for Heroes, and I'm joined by...
Hi, I'm Liz Campbell. I'm the voice of Rebecca Stone in No Space, and Dan's invited me on to have a little chat in a season 1 retrospective. So thanks so much for joining us for that.
Yeah. So I went back and I did a re-edit of season 1 before going into season 2, and so I've listened to it, and you've just listened through it as well. And yeah, I just thought before diving into season 2, which is coming very shortly, if it's not out already, we just go back and just
reminisce. We shall reminisce of our times.
Because it was quite strange the way we put it together. We did this over the last 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, there was a bit of a pandemic.
Yeah,
in the middle of it. So
I think that might have given me more time.
What is time?
Edit.
Yeah. That's fair. Well, in which case, why don't I kick us off by asking you, the illustrious creator of this series, what made you want to make a podcast, make a space podcast?
The sound effects.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I can confirm this is the deep cut hot take that I'm pretty sure you're turning in for. Dan Proctor sleeps to the sound of space noises.
Oh yeah. That too. Well, that's not why. So I changed careers and I went to film school and I learned how to edit. So my professional job is I edit videos for a production company. But when I was in the film school, we were learning all sorts of different things. There was one day where a guy came in and he taught us about sound design. And so that's when I got into Audition and I just started experimenting with that. And I just started making sort of different soundscapes of different places. I'm a big sci-fi nerd anyway. So, I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but in the first season, they go from place to place and each one has a different sort of biome, so you have the sort of noir city. Then you go to Geosphere, which itself has lots of different biomes. You've got the desolate surface, you've got the ice caves, you've got the forest, the lake, and then another sort of abandoned city. So I think that was what kind of drove the thing in the first place,
right?
And then we put together the story
you
to go with it.
Some scripts around it to justify the different. Yeah, no, I gotcha.
Yeah, and obviously I always wanted a space show. That's like my dream.
Can confirm, yes.
Yeah, as a kid, I always wanted. I kind of grew up watching, I don't know, like Stargate and Star Trek. Voyager was always on when I came home from school.
What is it about sci-fi that makes you so happy and invested?
I think it inspires imagination. It's a world where you can be yourself, but you could be more. And I don't know. It's very comforting.
Yeah.
And I think you can kind of explore aspects of humanity that exist in the real world, but in a setting that's slightly less scary. You can delve, that's kind of what Star Trek did. You can delve into quite serious topics and the human condition, but you add a few aliens in and it doesn't seem so intimidating to try and explore those things anymore. And so I think that's why I think I always head that way when I'm wanting to write a story.
How was the experience for you of writing a series?
It was interesting. I've never written something like this before. I've written most of my adult life. I'm one of those people who starts a lot of projects and then doesn't finish them, and that's why
I've met them. I don't know, not that I know them personally, or yeah.
That's why it took us. I mean, it took us a long time to get this done. But I'm really glad that we did, and then we're kind of carrying on. But I think the reason for that is that I get really excited about an idea, and I'm sure lots of other people feel the same. you get an idea, and then you're just really excited about it, and then you get another one, and you want to go off and explore that one. But yeah, I think so. Liz and I met through doing a comedy show, a sketch and song show here in London, which I did. I did that for 15 years or something.
Yeah.
Sketches and songs are like the right length, like 3 minutes. You know, that's about my attention span. And you know, I have a strange sense of humor. So I think writing this, I wanted to tell a story and have a bit of that humor in it, but maybe not too much. I wanted people listening to actually care about what happens to these characters.
Yeah. And I mean, just on that, one of the great things about this comedy show that Dan and I did for many years together, is that's where you got, I'd say, 90% of the cast.
Yeah.
Which is nice, having friends who are, you know, theatrical types that's very happy to come and record a podcast. Yeah, how did you go about kind of casting and...
Yeah, I mean, I guess we start with the main characters.
Which is you.
And you.
Yeah.
And Ellie.
And Ellie.
When I first thought up Becky, I wanted her to be a sort of gunslinger kind of, maybe sort of like Han Solo, a Harrison Ford type character. I remember saying that at the beginning. Like,
yes, the first episode without any. We literally got the first. I think you gave us the full script of episode 1, which at the time, so it's been re-released. So the first episode in the original release was on Black Rock 4 when Becky's approached by
that's now
Cheetah.
Episodes 3, 4, and 5. And the original first episodes, you're the only person we meet for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, as well it should be. I mean,
and Cheetah.
Star. But yes, I remember your direction you just kept saying the words Harrison Ford at me over and over.
Well,
that's very ethereal charisma that man has. It's hard.
So, well, I think the thing is, this is the first audio drama. This is the only audio drama I've ever made. But so most of my experience, I guess, of sci-fi had been up until that point. Movies and TV shows, and this is not a visual medium. So I wrote these kind of fairly horrible things for your character to say. Your character is quite discriminatory against these other aliens, and I kept wanting you to like say it with like, she does it with a wink and a smile, but like can't really do that, can you? So yeah, Becky's
more awful than you thought.
Yeah, I still like Becky, but she's kind of a troubled soul. What do you think of Becky?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I have empathy for Becky. She is a troubled soul, and she is, again, maybe this is just the way I ended up playing her rather than your intention, but she's very quick to anger, she's very mercurial, she's very slow to trust and very quick to accuse and things like that. And and there's reasons for that, but it's interesting doing some scenes because she will go from perfectly happy, sensible, normal talking to on a dime being offended and angry and rude, which some people are like that, though. That's I think that's
she's very easily triggered, and I think in season 2 we're kind of maybe I think there's at least an episode where we kind of explore a bit more of why that is.
On the timeline, we have actually finished recording season 2. Almost. Oh, I've finished recording season 2. I don't know what Dan's doing.
Yeah.
So I actually know what happens to Becky. No spoilers. But yeah, we do delve into kind of more motivations and things like that.
Yeah. This, I mean, like I said, this first season was originally, I wanted to do it to create the different soundscapes because I wanted to hear crunching snow.
Yeah.
And then we've kind of gone on a journey with these characters, and they ended up kind of writing themselves. Like when I write a new episode now, I don't feel like I'm even in control. Those characters just talk to, they argue with each other, they do silly things. It just kind of comes out. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I put them in a direction and then bring them to some sort of like final conflict. But yeah, so season 2 is different. We're not, it's more about the characters, I would say. I mean, I wouldn't say season 1 wasn't about the characters. I think all 3 of them, we're exploring their various flaws, and in various different ways they kind of overcome them a little bit in the end.
Incremental change.
Yeah.
But so are you exclusively revealing here that season 2 will have fewer soundscaped areas?
No.
No. The answer is no.
No. But let me think. But it's not about it's not as Star Wars, like the original 3 movies of Star Wars. You got the desert planet, and you got the forest planet, the ice planet, and that's kind of what No Space was like. It's like very clear. They're biomes, and this one we spend some time in a city. We go to different parts of the city. We go to people's houses. We're on spaceships. So it's not necessarily like my desire to make an ice cave is not the driving force of the series.
You fulfilled that dream.
Yeah.
So yeah, I suppose when thinking about the plot of season 1, the arc, it would be nice to hear about what you were thinking in terms of the theme and the point. I know, for example, that the title No Space for Heroes was something that came near the end and really agonized over what to call it.
Yeah, we had that discussion. I think originally I was going to call it something like, I think it was Star PI, It was going to be
Starpy.
Star PI. Yeah. You shot down quite
Please
a lot of
tweet at Dan and tell him that Starpy was a terrible name. I shot that down real fast.
Yeah, because I think originally, like when you were supposed to be Indiana Jones, or maybe more Blade Runner, what's his name?
Harrison Ford
in Blade Runner. When it was supposed to be more, because there's this whole thing that you're like, oh, you're an ex-cop and you're an investigator. They don't really do any investigating in that series. I mean, like, we kind of make it clear that this is kind of a job that's not really, it's kind of not what you're used to. But you don't do very much investigating. But originally it was supposed to be more of an investigation, less of a adventure podcast. What was the original question?
What were you going for? What's the theme?
Right. So when it started becoming more No Space for Heroes, it was really an exploration of these kind of stories. Because, people, anyone who's a sci-fi fan, anyone who's a video game fan, a fantasy fan, a movie fan, I'm sure they'll be able to see where I've got quite a lot of inspiration for a lot of these places, these characters. Some of them are quite archetypal. So I kind of wanted to just twist that a little bit. So the idea of season 1 is that if you can call them our heroes, the crew of the Blue Banshee, if you listen back to it, they don't really do anything at all. They go to this planet, and the only thing they really do is they switch on their elevator, which brings Cheetah down, who then kills her father, who's a genocidal maniac. So the Geonites really resolve this conflict between themselves. And so much of what's happening in the series is just these characters kind of bumbling around and sort of contrasting with that, with them actually thinking, or at least Becky thinking, that she's very important, and that she becomes very grandiose at points, you know, like when she's talking to the tree and things like that.
I think it's both thinking she's important at times. I think at times she doesn't, and then wanting to be important, you know, secretly wanting to be relevant. And
yeah, of course, I think that's she wants to be loved. I think she wants to be admired, but she doesn't go about that really the right way. And I think even going back to what's now the very first episode, what she kind of has latched onto, the saving of the Calisaur egg with Dr. Haunt, she did actually do that, but
it wasn't very heroic.
But it wasn't heroic at all, and I think that's the point of this series, because I guess, I don't know whether it's true or not, but the point of the series is that speech that Paris has in the Poison City episode, that heroes don't exist, that they're not real, that whenever you know, I not to say that people don't do heroic things,
but people aren't monoliths. Terrible people can do a heroic thing, and you know, good people can be thoroughly mediocre at times.
That's the point of the show. So, you know, and that's why the king, who I think we can probably agree is not a nice guy, he keeps going on about being a hero. He thinks he's a hero. He's got a bunch of followers who are zombies, who think that I presume they think he's great. I don't know how much of their brains are left after they've they're just kind of I love their sound effect. I don't know where I got that from. They loll up and they've got like, they almost kind of like, you can I just imagined like their twisted limbs kind of like pulling them across the ground. I wonder what other people imagine when because I've got very distinct sorts of images in my head of all these different places and creatures.
Well,
and I wonder what
if anyone is listening to this and wants to get in touch and let us know what you think the mutated Geonites look like, please do. We accept napkin sketches, vague descriptions.
Because I mean, like I said before, and I think I read something recently about when people are starting up their, you know, like what you should do and what you shouldn't do when you're making an audio drama. Someone was said, remember, it's not a visual medium, but that is not how I did this at all. I imagine I've got very distinct images of all these places, and I've tried to convey that. I mean, sometimes doing that, I don't know how other people get away with this, but you know, when you're like, oh, look, that. And then one of the characters will say what's happening. I guess I feel sometimes you can't push that too far to make it, but you can get away with it a bit. But you know, like, you can't show something being intimidating, but you can play a drone or like a horn, like an intimidating sound. And I think when people do listen to these things, I think they imagine these places.
Yeah.
So I would disagree. I don't know who said it, but I disagree. Whoever said
that fictional straw man that I've invented.
You are painting a picture of these worlds. If that's the type of podcast you're doing, you're painting a picture of these worlds. And I think with fantasy and sci-fi and all this kind of stuff, that's what you're doing. You want, and I think that's why people like them. I think that's why people listen. They want to escape to these worlds. They want to imagine that they could visit these places and they could go on these adventures.
And that's a wonderful thing about audio, is that you can convey atmosphere and feelings, and still people will get to fill in much of it with their imagination in a way that you know
can't with the movie.
Yeah.
So it's almost like reading a book, but apart from you do the audio bit, it's also great because you can kind of, and I think that's why a lot of people, I mean, maybe it's just the people that I've been following and listening to do a lot of sci-fi and fantasy, because like a lot of people would want to make their own TV series or movie, but you can't because because you know, money and budgets and skill sets. But I think pretty much anybody can make, if you get a microphone.
Yeah, well, I mean, we made a podcast.
Editing
so.
Exactly.
You know?
So I think, like, you know, it's so open, and I just think of the one I've been listening to quite a few recently, and just kind of, it just makes me happy listening to other people kind of, exploring their imaginations and, telling their story. And I don't know, it's great.
So here's an audio question. I'd say round about halfway through recording the first season, I remember you saying, "Oh, it ends with the song." And I went, "What do you mean it ends with the song? Like the music cues you've been doing?" Like, no, I'm writing a song. And by Jove, you did.
Yeah, it took ages. That
Yeah.
was Juliet Hargreaves, who plays Hestia and also sang that song. She helped. She's very musical. She wrote the song. And I wrote the lyrics to it, and we did a lot of back and forth. There's also going to be a song in season 2 at the moment, but we've simplified our process. But that took a long time to...
What possessed you to end on a song?
I remember I was just like walking to film school, and I was like, wouldn't it be great if it ended with something that was almost sounded a bit like Holding Out for a Hero, but it's like an evil version. If you listen to the words, what this character is saying is not matching what's going on in the action, because the song is, well, I wanted people to originally think it's a song for Geo. She's singing, "Our hero never loses, the end is coming, our hero's going to save the day, the king has been going on about he's the greatest hero of all time," and the title of the episode is The Hero. So I wanted people to think that the song's about him, and that, our characters are, about to lose, and that maybe that's what the twist is going to be. Maybe the twist is going to be that the goodies, as they think they are, lose. But the twist is not that. The twist is that he's not the hero. That you are. Becky's the hero. And we have that broadcast at the end of the episode where you hear, you got this Geonite who is xenophobic, he's horrible, he's a racist, really.
Unlike Becky.
She has some quality, exactly. I mean, but she kind of learns...
She's not genocidal, I will give her that.
She's not genocidal, she definitely has some prejudices, but that was kind of the point of her meeting Hestia and stuff like that. I think we might explore it later. There are things that happen to Becky. Becky doesn't really trust anyone. I don't think she likes her own species as much as anybody else, but she lashes out, and she's got a lot of anger in her, and and I think she does learn some of her lessons. And you were saying before, they don't learn anything, and season 2 they're back to being terrible again. But one element of that is her kind of dislike for aliens is not there anymore in season 2. She is not. That's one kind of trait that she has taken a step forward in, and she's actually quite the opposite. She's very trying to take a stand against prejudice. So that's one way she has developed. We hear from Geo's side, and we think he's a bad guy. We also see that there are plenty of other Geonites who are nice, and actually they're the ones who save the day. And we don't really hear much on the human front. We don't really go to any human planets at all. That was also helpful because it saved on actors, because a lot of them are like kind of bear and pig noises, all these aliens that I've altered. But yeah, we hear kind of the human side of it, and I think the point of it is that we hear that the humans are really no better than King Geo, and there's kind of and that's sort of the place that we go into season 2. Becky got what she wanted in the end. She did, and we'll find this out, she did get to be a hero, but the point of the show is that that shouldn't be something to strive for. And I think, like what Paris says, helping people, doing heroic things is good, but like wanting to be famous and wanting to be recognized as being something that deep down you're not, I think that can lead to bad things. What was your favorite episode?
What was my favorite episode? I really like the forest, when we're at the village, the uncorrupted Geonite village with Hestia and Maisie, and I think it's just a nice that, and the on the surface when they're in the tombs trying to get below the surface. I like those because that's that little nuggets of kind of alien lore. That I think that kind of lovely sense of adventure. I agree that something like sci-fi or fantasy can capture, where you're just like, here's a whole new species, here's a whole new culture, and here's some stuff they do, and I love those little bits, and I think they're fun and sweet and interesting.
There's also points where we get to see Becky's not just a shouty person. In the sort of the cave bet, you get to hear that she's actually good at stuff. She is good at solving puzzles. She is intelligent, and you also get to hear that she gets really excited by it. She really enjoys problem solving. And you can kind of see why she was an investigator, and you can see that she was good at it. And then obviously her relationship with Hestia goes from distrust to that she likes her a lot really quickly, which is another thing that I think Becky does.
That's it. It's extremes, isn't it? Where it's extreme distrust to,
and she's suddenly like, I must do this quest for you in your memory, and she and I think that is
someone's shown her kind of kindness for 10 minutes.
Somebody,
she's got issues.
It wasn't kindness. It was she showed her respect, and she basically told her that she could do anything. She love bombed her. She was like, she's like, oh, I see a Geonite in you. I can see that you're strong. She told her all the things that Becky wants to believe about herself. And I think that
interesting.
I think that made her be like, well, if she's saying it must be right. This person's great.
Interesting. That wasn't even my read on the scene. But I mean, I absolutely see that. I mean, I think it is stuff that Becky wants to hear. I don't know. I felt Hestia was very willing to state the good and the bad in a very frank way.
Yeah.
That is the kind of, there seemed to be some honesty there, and I think Becky latched onto that very quickly. And I do think it is somebody who is, I mean, this is it. Look, hey man, you're the writer. Maybe it was just love bombing to make her do what she wanted.
No. I think, but so if Hestia latched on to Becky, again, like she does not want to spend any time with these people. She wants to make her ice cream so she can die.
Well, it's a pragmatism that I think Becky has as well, and it was that kind of thing. Like, I do think there's that weird flicker of like a kindred spirit who said something like, "Hey, you're actually strong. Clearly, you're competent because you've done all these things. Go and do something useful." And I think Becky did probably go a bit over.
She does
over the emotion,
respect her. She respects her a lot more than Paris. She barely speaks to Paris and just thinks that he's an idiot. And he is quite stupid in that episode, wanting to debate with the giant fish. But there's an element of, I guess, with Hestia dying, she wants to ascribe meaning to this meeting because she's going, and she wants to she's kind of, and she's got all these different takes. Why did I meet these people? What is this, like, what's this point? And she wants in her like final like hours to see a purpose.
Which I mean, again, my interpretation of Becky is, she is also desperate for meaning. So they have that in common. Hestia saying, "Oh, there's a reason why you showed me this sphere today." Like, gosh, that's compelling for somebody who's on a fool's errand and suddenly is given an actual purpose to follow through. And yeah.
In the forest, that was when you get blinded and then you get your sight back. I remember you saying like, why, what's the point? There's no why should I be blinded at the beginning to get my sight back?
I get his vulnerability. I got it.
Yeah. So
I
was when I went back and I was listening to it, I was like, yeah, no, this makes sense, because Becky is always lying, or if she's not lying, she's always got a mask on. She's always being, even with like the one person she spends time with, and and especially more to strangers, she's always being not what she is. And I think when she's alone in that forest and she literally can't see, that's kind of that. I mean, maybe it's extreme, but that kind of like really scared is what she is the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's why she kind of puts this.
Yeah.
What do you think about Blue?
I think Blue's a great character. And I think Ellie does a fabulous job. It, and I don't mean this negatively, but it's the kind of cheeky robot is a sci-fi trope. But like, it's a great sci-fi trope. And I think what I really like about Blue is, it's cheeky robot. She's also quite sinister. It's a genuine problem. But yeah, it's charming, and I really like that. The curiosity that's both very endearing in that she's trying to figure out how to be human, and slightly threatening because she is actively putting us in danger a number of times in this kind of whimsical way.
I think in the beginning, it's definitely for season 1 at least, Becky's supposed to be the main character. But for the series overall, so season 2, and if we make a season 3, I think this is Blue's story. And I think it's about her decision about us as humans. And I think she kind of, that's why, it doesn't matter really who they defeat. It's all about what she's observing the other characters do, the other Becky and Paris, and their very dysfunctional relationship. And like in this first season, she's like a baby, so she does some really bad things, but she's like a toddler. How like a toddler might go up to another toddler and just to experiment might hit the other toddler. And it's not necessarily because they're evil. It could be something that they've observed, or it could just be something that they don't know that's going to cause harm.
Well, it's interesting you say that, and talking about the focus on Blue, because I think that's right for sure. But I also think it's interesting to compare that to the way that the series was originally released, and
because
the re-release.
Because we made that Dr. Haunt episode as a
which
prologue,
is now episode 1.
Which is now episode 1 because it should be episode 1.
That was a mini episode, a couple of episodes.
Yeah, it was like a bonus to just explain where
they got the
these
ship.
where these three characters first came together, and then that episode. So if you only listened to it the first time round, at least go back and listen to that episode, because that episode is going to be important for everything going forward. That is when this became. Well, that's when I think the possibility came for this to be more than one season. It wasn't just going to end. What was the original?
The original question was about Blue, and I'm going to go back to it because I do think on the re-release, not only do we have the first episode that is now Dr. Haunt, how they get Blue, and Blue, the first introduction to the computer of the ship is her trying to suffocate and then being essentially bribed by Paris to break her programming.
Yeah.
You also since the original release, put in what is now episode 2, which is something
Yeah.
that we recorded very recently, the kind of Western.
I like that one because we got to be cowboys.
Yeah, we
had a
that was
shootout
just
for-
fun.
Yeah.
It was really fun to record.
I
It
remember
sounds great.
It's on the recording, obviously not what I put in,
Yeah.
but like we did that scene and you were like, I presume you're gonna put some sort of like epic like shootout here. It's not just us going, oh no, duck, like this. I was like, yeah, don't worry, I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this.
Yeah, it is very fun. But this is it. And so we also have, before the start of what was originally the season, we have Blue coming and murdering a bunch of A, stealing the ship, and B, coming back to murder a bunch of bad guys in a kind of oh, I thought I was helping way. So yeah, I find it interesting. I agree with your assessment of Blue as a kind of toddler, but you've managed in the re-release to go back and add in a lot more sinister pre-canon to the adventure.
I think it kind of makes your character make a bit more sense because
she is dangerous.
You don't trust her at all, and you're always threatening to reset her and try and get her back to what you think a normal computer should be doing.
Non-homicidal computer is me and my demands.
And it kind of it highlights kind of some of Paris's negative qualities, because I think on face value you could say, oh, he's optimistic, he's a pacifist, he's like a goody two shoes, but he's not. He's an idiot. He's not an
naive.
idiot.
He's naive.
You know, like you could look at it one way. You could say, oh, Becky is prejudiced and he's the voice of reason. But he's not, because he's too far the other way. He's prejudiced. I would say he's prejudiced against humans.
It's this black and white, isn't it? Is that no things are black and white. They're neither, people you don't know are neither universally terrible or universally good. That's not how people work.
Yeah, the truth is always somewhere in the middle. And that with Blue, we do the stereotypical thing, the data thing, she's a robot who wants to be human. That is been done a million times, and we did it too. But I think maybe the difference with R1, and I'm sure we're not the only people to ever do it, is that she really gets failed by, you could say, oh, she made a big sacrifice, but like in Star Trek, Data is, he has a lot of inspirational characters. He's got Picard, he's all these people, and I love that show, and it's really complicated. There's some amazing drama in it, but these are all heroes. These are real sci-fi heroes, but our characters, like Blue, the three humans who are the most influential on Blue are Dr. Haunt, who is he's a psycho,
mad scientist.
And then Paris and Becky, who are not honest with each other or themselves, and have a lot of hang-ups and just kind of, they don't have their stuff together. And that's why, she's unhinged, and she's a product of what she observes. I don't know. And I think she's not that good.
No one's that good in this.
I like that.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that
it's the moral grace.
They're also not heroes. They're not Picard. They're not Worf. They're just, and they're not even like, like a lot of shows are kind of like, oh, it's our, misfits, our misfits, and they're always getting it wrong, but they're good, they're well-intentioned, and they get there in the end. These guys are not well-intentioned always. I mean, they might say they are, like Becky might say, I'm a hero, I'm here to save her, and Paris is like, we need to, this is the moral thing to do, but they're lying to themselves because that's not why they're doing it. And I think that's kind of what a lot of people do, and I think everyone should strive to kind of, be good as much as possible and be honest with themselves about their shortcomings sometimes. I don't know. There we go. So, okay, well, this is a bit different from what we usually do, which is just putting out episodes of
Yeah.
our fictional science fiction podcast. If you've got this far, I imagine you probably are invested. So thank you for listening, and thanks for listening to the show. There's quite a few. There's nice people out there on the internet. Follow us on Twitter.
We have a Twitter plug, but yes, please.
Well,
we really do. It genuinely means a huge amount to a up and coming podcast like us. Anytime we get a follow or a tweet or a review or something, it's heartening, and it's nice that you're listening. And if you've listened to the end of this chat show, then you must care. So thank you very much. Like it means a huge amount to us. Thank you.
I don't know if you noticed, but I don't actually know how to do Twitter.
He'll learn.
But I really like when people talk to me on there.
At no space.
Oh yeah, it's a no space podcast. No space at no space podcast. Where can we find you, Liz?
You can find me on Twitter and other socials, although I don't use them that much. At Liz X Campbell.
Liz.
Yeah.
Campbell.
Yes. Liz. No, that's too many X's. Liz Campbell. Yeah. Liz the letter X Campbell. And yeah, on there you can find out about other podcasts that I work on.
Yeah, and you're in another one, but you can, if you like listening to Liz's acting, you can hear her.
Yeah. If you're a fan of improvised storytelling, actual play, role-playing games, that kind of stuff, I'm in a show called Realms of Peril and Glory. And yeah, we got a fantasy campaign, we got sci-fi campaign, and if you hate the sound of my voice, they got plenty of shows without me in it.
Yeah, and if you hate the sound of her voice, we actually have a couple episodes in season 2 that she's not in it, so you can just listen to those.
Yeah. So come back for season 2.
Yeah. And same with me as well. There's going to be quite a few non-parasite.
It's just space. It's just space noises.
It's just space.
It's just 20 minutes of space noises entire
Oh, yeah,
episode.
yeah. Space whales. Thanks, everybody, for listening. And stay tuned for season 2.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.